Welcome to the guide on how to defeat 8-man hard mode Xenoanalyst 2, brought to you by the fine folks at Electric Zombie. I'm the main, sometimes called Morgan. I'm going to be your host for the video today. As you can see, we start the fight with Xeno, and he has a long cooldown. Well, not cooldown, but he has a long time before the fight will actually begin. He has a bunch of really cute robot things that he says. You can feel free to watch a video with sound to get all of that. This fight kind of reminds me of the Operator 9 fight, but nowhere near as taxing on the group. So he's going to disappear and reappear, and once he does, the fight can begin. See, he immediately comes out and hits the tank really hard. See, I'm using my cooldowns there appropriately. And I'm waiting for him to go into his problem-solving evaluation. At that point, everybody needs to go click a panel, everybody but the two tanks. The two tanks come and they hide behind a pillar to not take as much damage. As soon as all the buttons are clicked, you see DPS in the background there doing that. The tank that's going to hold him needs to come out and immediately jump to him and re-establish aggro, which I'm doing now. As you can see, first couple of hits really hurt. I take a little bit of the damage, and then my off-tank who is a Sin, he taunts him, and he holds on to him. He's going to be waiting on his thermal tolerance evaluation attack. When that comes out, he's going to shroud it and force cloak it and go hide behind a pillar, and I take the boss back. And we continue to attack him until he goes into the next part of his attack cycle, which is going to be environmental awareness test. He targets one of the cores that are around the room. He actually points to it. The group needs to go DPS it. The group stands squarely in front of the core. When it explodes, it will knock the group mostly back to Xeno, as you can see there. Re-establish aggro. Still doing okay on health and cooldowns, so hold on to him. And we're going to continue to DPS him until he goes into his next cycle, which is going to be species comparison. During species comparison, he will summon an ad or a group of ads that the group needs to deal with after clicking on the buttons. So you see, he does species comparison, you need to click on the buttons, there are the ads. First group is 4 act beasts. They're pretty easy, just, stack them and burn them. They go down pretty quickly, they don't do a lot of damage. If you don't have cooldowns available, you will be okay. After that is done, you need to go hide behind the pillar so that we can take his shield down and begin to attack him again. And again, I will take the first couple of hits. And our Sin tank will pick him up before he does his thermal tolerance evaluation. During his thermal tolerance evaluation, the Sin tank will shroud it and hide behind a beam, and I take him back. It's essentially a tank swap. There are multiple strategies for how to deal with thermal tolerance, depending on which tank you're using. Sin happens to be probably the easiest to do. On a PT, you would use your EP shield, your emergency power shield. On a Jug, you would use Mad Dash. Fortunately, I do not have Mad Dash enabled, and that comes back to haunt me, as we're going to see here soon. There is environmental awareness, another core being summoned, being targeted, excuse me. So we go to attack them, and the group destroys it, gets kicked back, and we go and aggro the boss again, and we're going to continue to attack him until he does his next species evaluation. To make a mistake here in the ensuing cycle that occurs, but my off-tank has him, and he summons now 4 simulated Tyrantecs. They hit a lot harder. It is advised that you use both tanks' AoE taunts to hold on to them so they can be stacked, and you also use whatever cooldowns you have available because they do hurt. Okay. Go hide behind the pillar, wait for his shield to be dropped and him to do his initial AoE damage, and then go re-aggro him. Now I make a mistake here in communicating with my co-tank, in that I think he tells me to take him when he's actually telling me that he is taking them, and I end up taking the thermal tolerance, and because I do not have Mad Dash enabled, I'm not able to get it kited behind the pillar in time, and I die. There's the thermal. You can see the massive amounts of damage it's doing to me. Tick, 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 dead. That's why you come up with some strategy to mitigate it, this thing being the easiest. Because it does not take very long to kill the tank. And my awesome healers res me. We're having a good laugh at my idiocy in group chat. There is the next evaluation. Go DPS down the core. Like I said, if you stand directly in front of the core when it explodes, it kicks you almost all the way back to it. Makes it very easy to get back to it if you're DPS or a healer. We're waiting on the next species evaluation, which will be our last. We are going to get one mob that gets summoned this time. It is Rancor. He hurts an awful lot, as opposed to burning cooldowns that we're going to need here in Burn, because we're technically in Burn right now. We're under 20%. The strategy that we use is that we ping-pong him, like you would eyeless. So you can see my co-tank has him, and I taunt him, and I run away. And then my co-tank taunts him back. And then I taunt him back, and just keep him moving. Keep it so that he is not aggroing one or the other, just constantly in motion. And he dies, and we get on Xeno. Xenu or Xen? I don't know. I don't know how it's pronounced. So we're going into our last dropping of the shield with problem-solving evaluation. There is no core for our DPS time, so we on the boss. The group stacks up for heals. And there's going to be a small part of this fight that requires a little bit more strategy. You'll see it as soon as his shield goes up for the last time. It'll be a different color this time though. I still have aggro. He's well under 20%, and there we go. He goes into his final phase, white shield. Now if you paid attention, you can see that he is, when he's casting his ability there, he is switching targets. Well, the idea is you want your two tanks to make sure that he stays aggro to both the tanks, so they watch the target a target. When targets somebody who is not a tank, the tank whose turn it is or who has an available taunt re-taunts the boss. This is a mechanic that is in the game in several places. The one that comes to mind is on Terror when you get to Burn phase. And that's it.